Okay, this is the yesterday's program. See, it is regarding skipping of some character values. In this, I am skipping the values of ovals, whether it is small or long, it doesn't matter. Small ovals or capital ovals, it doesn't matter. If I get any character value, if I got any ovals, I have to replace that value with dash. Say suppose dash. With the dash, I am going to skip that thing. Okay, so yeah, before what I mentioned an empty string. It is not actually white space. I'm leaving the blank here. It is not actually an empty space. If you wanted to create a white space, you can give the space to it. If you run the program, you'll get spaces. Okay, you will get the spaces. Okay, Python language. Okay, if I hit enter, I am getting white spaces where the ovals are present, at which the ovals are present. Okay, there are two ovals right here. Those are replaced by E. Okay, those are replaced by E. If you if you want to write dashes instead of white spaces, then you can write here as a dash. Okay, you can write the dash also. Okay, so if you write the dash instead of giving the space, you will get the dash value. Python language. Okay, you will get dashes. Okay, there are one oval present here. There is a one oval present here, and there are two ovals present here, which are replaced by dashes. Okay, like this we can we can modify the program. Okay, so this is all. This is just to indicate how we can do the for operation. How how
Sir?
it, tell me, Nana.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు నాకు డౌట్ ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం అక్కడ బి ఈక్వల్ టు అని అసైన్ చేసాం కదా ఫస్ట్ సెకండ్ లైన్ లో.
B is an empty string here.
ఓకే సార్,
Empty
నెక్స్ట్
string.
ఇఫ్ తీసుకున్న తర్వాత మీరు బి ఈక్వల్ టు అని ఇచ్చారు కదా, అంటే మనం ఫస్ట్ ఇక్కడ ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎంటర్ ద వాల్యూ అని తీసుకున్నాం కదా, అది మళ్ళీ మనం ఇచ్చిన ఇన్పుట్ కి అది ఎట్లా అసైన్ చేసుకుంటుంది సార్ బి కింద?
We are writing here I for I in the character range of A. What happens here is each and individual character value is independently assigned to the variable called I. That I is compared in this if condition. If that intermediate variable is consist of any ovals which are in small letters or which are in capital letters, if any character is presents, then it will be replaced with dash. Okay, or else it is directly stored in the stored in the variable of B. If any oval present and if any oval is present, then it will simply store that value in place as dash. Okay, if not, if there is no character value, if there is no oval, then it will simply stores the value. Okay, one after another. Okay, I will give you the example. P Y T H O N. Okay, it is not a oval. First letter is oval, not an oval. Okay, it fails to check this condition. Okay, if this condition fails, then what happens? This condition B equals to B plus I will be executed. So what is the value of I right now? P. So that P is assigned to the variable called B. Okay, the P character is completed. Okay, what is the next character? Y. Okay, so there is no oval now, it is not oval now. Then the first condition will fails. First condition will fails, it will comes to second condition. What it will do? It will assign that y to the character of B. Already we stored the value P for the first iteration. Okay, for the first iteration it is stored as P. For the second iteration it becomes y now. The value of I becomes y. Okay, so what happens here is the value of B is P in this case. Okay, and the temporary value right now is y. Okay, both are adding here, it becomes P and y. Okay, and y is also completed. For the next iteration it will checks, it is also fails. Why? Because T is not an oval. Okay, So what happens? This else condition will runs. Okay. What is the value stored right now? Py is stored in the variable of b. Okay. And what is the value of intermediate variable? What is the value of intermediate variable t? Okay. It will be added to the b. Okay. It becomes p by t. Like this, you will get h also. If you got o, so there is a o present here. Okay. There is a o present in the this range of segment. Okay. This string in this string value, small o is present. Then it will be executed. Then it will be replaced with dash. Okay. The value which is stored in b is right now is p by th. Okay. So what happens right now? Instead of writing 0, sorry, instead of writing o, it will assign dash. It will assign dash. Okay. Then this else condition will not be executed. Okay. It will simply checks the another string value. Okay. It will simply checks the another string value. Okay. It finally checks the value of n. Okay. So n is not present in the string value now. So what happens? This if condition will skip out and else condition will run. Okay. So the value stored in B right now is p by th dash. P by th dash. So what is the temporary value n? Okay. That n will be assigned to here. Okay. Like this empty string will be filled out for each and every iteration. This concept is called as iteration. Okay. This concept we called as iteration. Okay. What is meant by iteration is nothing but we are checking the condition repeatedly until and unless the length of the string is completed. Okay. After that, what we will do, I'm taking this program. So what I'm writing, what we are doing is, let me, I will, okay. How to check, where is, how to check mail ID. Wait a minute. Mail ID verification. Okay. It's a simple concept. No need to worry. Okay. So what is the concept for mail ID verification? We have to enter our mail and we have to enter our password, isn't it? It is simple. I'm taking two variables x comma y equals to, for the x it is a string now. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking an input value which is string. Okay. Okay. Mail. I'm writing in quotations mail question mark. Okay. For sake of simplicity, I'm writing mail question mark and taking comma. Okay. So this the entered value will be assigned to the variable called x. Okay. The mail which the user enters, it will assign to the variable called x. Okay. Password may be usually a string or a number, but right now I'm considering it is an integer. Okay. Right now I'm considering as an integer. I'm typing password. PASS password space question. Okay. So enter. So what I have to do, I have to check the condition. If x equals to, in quotations, x equals to quotations Kaushik. Okay. And y equals to 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. I have to close the condition. Then what I have to do? So if both conditions are satisfied, okay, this is my mail ID. So suppose Kaushik is my mail ID. I have to write @Gmail also, but it becomes lengthy. I'm simply writing user. Okay, user is Kaushik and my password is 1 2 3 4 5. If it is correct, then what the display has to show, login successful. Full. Okay. If not, what I have to do? So in order to write that if not condition, you have to go back and you have to write else and you have to print login failed. or as your wish. Login field, try again. It's your wish. The statement which you are writing in this print statement is your wish, Nana. You can write as per your convenient. How efficiently you are interested to express the statement is depends upon you. Okay, so just let me run this program. We can see the modifications also in this condition. User, okay, it is asking user. I'm writing Kaushik and password 123445. If I hit enter, login successful. Okay, it is successfully logged. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking integer input here. Okay, I'm taking integer input, but I mistakenly considered this y as string. Okay, I mistakenly considered as y as a string. Okay, let me run this program. See what will happen. Okay, user Kaushik and password 12345. If I hit enter, login field. Why? Because I'm taking here as I'm taking integer value as a y variable. Okay, and the y variable is in the form of string now. So these two are not matching. Okay, that's why we are getting error. Okay, and if it is normal input function, say suppose the y variable is a normal input function, then what will happen? If it's not a string variable, it's a normal input function. Okay, we didn't mention whether it is a string or a integer. Okay, login successful. It prompted. Okay, see, instead of writing quotations, I'm removing y equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and let me run again this program. Okay, I'm writing Kaushik, password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So login failed. Okay, login is failed. Why it's failed? We are taking input as a we are taking password as an input, but we didn't mention it is a string or a float value or a integer value. But we specifically mentioned that y must be equals to integer. Okay, so that's why these two input equals to password, that is meaning that the value which the user given is stored in y as a password is not matching with this password which we are stored in at the backend. Okay, so that's why we are getting the error. Okay, in order to get login successful statement, what we have to do, we have to mention in quotations, or else you must write integer here. If you want to remove these quotations, you must give integer here. Okay, so let me run this program again. Oh shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, login is successful. You can decorate this function little bit also, but since it is a login concept now, so you have to mention wait a minute now. Hello, good morning sir. నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను. నేను 11:30 వరకు చేస్తాను. అర్జెంటా? ఓకే. Okay, since it is a login concept now, we have to compare both the values, user as well as password. Okay, we have to check both conditions are satisfying or not. If it is one of these is wrong, then we cannot say that login is successful. In order to get login successful, either user or password is correct, then you have to use OR function. Okay, if you type username correctly, KOUSHIK, enter, and password some character numbers, you will get login is successful. But it doesn't use the security, isn't it? So then we have to compare the both values, both the functions. Okay, username as well as password we have to mention, we have to compare in order to verify the mail ID or two inputs. Okay, for sake of your understanding, I'm saying it is a mail ID verification. You have to compare two inputs to get single statement in order to log in this page. In some conditions, you have to check both conditions. Okay, this is a simple concept where you will use if condition and condition and integer string inputs. Okay, string and integer inputs. If you are interested to specify the integer values, then you have to write int here. Okay, this is a simple concept. Okay, and I'm closing this thing. Okay, so mm, okay, let me write another program which relates to for function and if function, that is called prime number. Okay, so prime number concept. So what is the concept of prime number? So we are taking a number called 5. Okay, so we have to check the number 5 is whether prime number or not. So what we have to do, we have to take the value first. We have to take the input as input value. We have to divide that value to uh, to the range of numbers, including that number. We have to divide. Okay, we cannot divide with 0 now, so we have to divide with 1, we have to divide with 2 up to the number itself. Okay, in this range of numbers we have to get only two values. Okay, which at which we are getting remainder as 0. Okay, at which we are getting the remainder as 0, then we call it as a prime number. Okay, if we are getting more than two zeros, okay, exactly if we are getting exactly two zeros, it is called as a prime number. Okay, if not, what will happen, it's not a prime number, it's a composite number. Okay, clearly to say it's a composite number. Okay, let me write this program. First, what we have to do, we have to take integer input. Okay, okay, enter and backslash n. Okay, I'm writing simple words here. Okay, so what I have to do, why I have to assign that a to the value b. Okay, b equals to a. Why? Because I'm taking the input, say suppose I'm taking 10 here. Okay, in order to do the divisions I have to divide with 10 numbers now, so that's why I'm assigned to the variable called b. Or else if you getting any confusion, you can write like this also: a equals to b equals to int input enter in. Okay, it will directly assign the value a equals to b equals to 5 or the number which we are entered. Okay, after that what I'm doing is I'm taking another variable called count. Okay, initially count is 0, so what I have to do, I have to divide the number which the user is entered. Okay, so then we have to take the for concept for I in range which range we are talking about, okay, uh, we are talking about b. Okay, simply to say, for sake of your understanding, I'm assigning b to here, or else you can directly assign the a value also here, or else you can assign the a value directly if you are getting any confusion. Okay, we are taking only two values here. Okay, a equals to integer value and that a value comes here. Okay, a plus 1. Okay. Why I am writing a plus 1, I will tell you later after completing this program. After executing this program, you can understand. Okay. Uh, Whenever you type a range concept, you will get n minus 1 numbers now. Whenever you printed, wait a minute, when there is no shell now. Let me, it doesn't matter. Okay, there is a shell. Okay, I'm writing here 5 I in range of 0 to 5, 0 comma 5. So I'm closing this thing. I'm writing print I. See then, see print I. See what are the values we are getting? We are getting 0 initially. Okay, we are terminated at 4. Okay, so if you are writing a values, if you want to divide the number with the numbers that must be equals to 1 to that number, then what you have to do? You have to write 1 comma 5. Okay, then you will get 1 2 3 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4 you got. Okay, you can now divide with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as well, but you are not getting fifth number now. So what you have to do, you have to copy this thing, you have to paste this thing. I'm writing here, I'm writing 5 plus 1, meaning that it is a value of a which we are entering. Okay, it is a value of a which we are entering. So if you run this program, you will get 5 numbers. Okay, if you run this program, you will get total 5 numbers. Okay, there you can divide the number with the input entered by the user. Okay, so that's why I wrote a plus 1. Okay, then what I have to do, if okay, if I'm taking brackets a modulus division with I must be equals to 0, what I have to do, okay, wait a minute, what I have to do, I have to close this condition, c equals to c plus 1. Okay, c equals to c plus 1. Okay, I don't care whether it is a um, uh, how many counts I got. I don't care. I'm simply writing else condition. Sorry, if condition. Okay. Then later I'm checking another condition. If that C is exactly equals to Z 2. Okay. If that C is exactly equals to 2, if that C is exactly equals to 2, what I have to write? Just sorry, print. What I have to print? Print prime. Okay. So if not, what I have to print? Okay. Consort composite. Okay. Composite. I'm writing in a simple terminology. You can expand this also. Okay. If you consider, you can write here count as well. If you write count here, then you have to change this entire C. Wherever you find the C, you have to replace with count. Okay. Instead of writing C, you have to write count. Okay. It becomes difficult for us to edit the program. Okay. That's why I wrote simple ABCDs. Okay. If I write program, what will asking enter? It is asking to enter the number. So what I will do, I wrote 10. Okay. So first, so I got what I got for the first iteration, I got composite. So let me check where it is making an iterations. It is making iterations. It is making iterations. Okay. Uh, if the count is not equals to 2, then it will show us up the iterations. Okay. Um, Wait a minute. Let me change this concept. In order to do that, I have to come out of the if condition. in order to get only preferred output, I have to get out of the if condition. So if I write a number right now, what I will get? Enter. It is asking enter 9. Okay, simply I got composite. See, what happened here is I'm in the inside the loop of first if condition. Okay, I mean, before I let me undo this thing. If I do like this, I'm in the if condition. First if I'm in the loop of if condition. There is if condition. In that if condition, I'm running another if condition. That's why I got whether it is a compositor for every iteration, I'm getting some composite like that. Okay. If I don't want this mess, I have to come out of that loop. Okay, if loop. So it is done by simply giving the backspace. Okay. What happens if I give backspace and I'm executing this if condition separately and this if condition separately. Okay. See the concept here is user enters the number. User enters the number. That number is continuously assigned to the variable. Continuously assigned to the variable called I. Okay. Continuously assigned to the variable called I. If the user enters 5, uh, it takes the range of numbers from beginning with 1 to a plus 1, meaning that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be assigned to the value of I. And in the first if condition, what happens? That 5 number, the value which the user entered is divided continuously, and it is checking whether we are getting remainder 0 or not. If any division got 0, then it makes a count up. Then it will count that division that in this division I got 0. Okay. If after successful completion of this division process, I'm checking whether I'm getting 2 divisions or not, 2 modulus divisions or not. If I got 2 modulus divisions, what I will get as a output as prime. If not, what I will get as a composite. Okay. So let me run this program. Okay. Right now I'm entering a prime number, which is 11. Okay, I got prime number. Okay, simply it is asking me to enter the value, and all the execution iterations completed. After that, I got the result that it is a prime. Simply I got the prime out. Okay, you can specify if you are interested. You can specify the value also, a comma prime. Okay, a comma prime. Okay, this print concept we are already discussed, but sake of your understanding, I'm telling you 11 is 11 prime. Okay, you can decorate this thing. 11 is a prime number like that. You can decorate this thing. Okay, this is the concept of prime. So if I mistakenly concluded that like this, okay, if I mistakenly concluded 1 comma a, okay, let me close this one at the back side. I'm running this program. Okay. It is asking to enter. We know that 11 is a prime number, but we will get composite 11 composite. Okay, why? Because 11 is not divided with the number itself. 11 is not divided with the number itself. Why? Because the a showing the range of it is giving the range up to 10 only. It is not gives the range of 11. Okay, why? Because user typed 11 now, we typed 11 now, so 11 it will not shows up 11 values in this range concept. So in order to get 11, we have to write a plus 1. Okay. Okay. This is only the mistake that we will make. in this prime number concept. Okay, remaining is same. You have to divide that number. Okay, it's a basic knowledge. You have to compare the modulus. It is a basic knowledge. Okay, you have to print. It is also a basic knowledge, but it is a concept you must be focused while writing the program. Okay, so this is the concept of prime numbers. Okay, it is difficult to copy this program and send to you, Nana. While sending the video to you, just take the screenshots and try to execute that program. Okay, in the PyDroid app. Okay, I tried, but it is getting difficult for me to copy that thing. So that's why I'm leaving. Just take the screenshot or pause that video. Okay, and yesterday we came across some concept. What is that concept? We missed that thing. A equals to binary. Oh, wait a minute. Binary of some 11. Okay, enter. We got the binary. Hex of some value. Okay, if I enter, I got the hex number. Okay, but the inside the brackets we wrote decimal numbers. Okay, it is directly converting into hexadecimal numbers, but I want to directly convert a number which is in binary into hexadecimal. So in order to do that, we have to write int concept. Okay, int also already you know. Okay, int is nothing but integer, but see, if I take a bracket, generally it's called as integer. For the say the second name, integer x comma base 10. Okay, for you can write two numbers here. First number represents the magnitude, second number represents the base value. Okay, okay, what I'm writing is 1001010 comma, I'm writing 2. Okay, if I execute this thing, it gave me error. Okay, wait a minute. int, I'm writing in quotations. Okay, binary will not get. Okay, comma 2. Okay, if you execute this thing, I got 42. Okay, so while if you are writing any binary number or any hexadecimal number or any octal number, you have to mention that number in quotations. Okay, let me write another number, integer 2 3 4 5 6 7 comma 8. Okay, 8 represents a base value. Okay, 8 represents a base value, so it is a octal number. It is directly converted into decimal value. If I hit enter, it is directly converted into decimal value. You can write for integer also, int a b c d. Okay, comma 16. Okay, if I hit enter, I will get some decimal value which is equivalent to ABCD in hexadecimal. You can write another for number systems also. Okay, 1 2 3 4 comma base 6. Okay, I'm writing with base 6. Even the base 6 you will get the answer. Okay, base 6, the number 1 2 3 4 which has base 6 is equivalent to 310 in base 10. Okay, you can write any type of values here. Okay, 536 some number comma 28. Okay, I'm taking the base value as 28. If I hit enter, you will get some value. Okay, you will get some value in the base of 28. The decimal value will be 314, something like that. Okay, this generally we have base values are 2 4 to 8 16 only. Okay, sometimes you will have 10 also. 10 is nothing but decimal. Okay, but I want to convert hex in number, okay, which is in integer form, which is in form of decimal, okay, sorry, which is in form of binary, okay. So we can write like this, okay. See, integer 101010 comma 2 represents a binary number. After entering, what will happens, this first brackets, the inside brackets will be executed, okay. This first brackets represents a binary number that is directly converted into decimal number. After that, it is translated into hexadecimal number. If I hit enter, I will get the value in hexadecimal, okay. I will get the value in hexadecimal. Or else, if you want some octal number for a hexadecimal, okay, A B C D E F, comma, you have to mention 16 here, okay. If you enter, what will happens, A B C D E F is nothing but a hexadecimal number, okay. It is directly translated into decimal. After that, it is divided into, it is translated into octal number, okay. So we got octal number here, okay. Like that, we can do the calculation. So this is called as loop nested functions. More clearly to say, this concept is called as nested functions, okay. It is a function within the function, okay. It's a function within the function. There are three functions here. This is a first function. After executing this first function, it is given as an input to the second function called int. After executing this second function, it is given as an input to the third function called OCT. Okay, like that we can get the outputs. It is called as nested function concept. Nested function concept. Okay. So this thing we have completed, and wait. Message. What message? Okay. Let me write another program called perfect number. Okay. So let me write the concept for the perfect number. What is the concept of perfect number? If you take any number, okay, if you want any, if you need to write any comments, then you must specify with hashes only. Okay, you cannot uh, directly write anything. Okay, it will mistakenly executes and it will give the error. Okay, so if I take any number, say suppose NUM, okay, it has some factors. No, it has some factors. If you add the factors, that you will got that you will got that you will get in the from this number is must be equals to sum of the factors. Then it is called as a perfect number. So let's say the example for perfect number is 6. Okay, the factors for 6 is 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, the factors for 6 is 1 comma 2 comma 3. If I add these three, what you will get 6. Okay, meaning that 6 is a perfect number. Okay, this is the concept. So for this concept, what we have to do, we have to take we have to take the integer input from the user. Okay, enter \n. Okay, I'm taking the integer input. I'm initially while we are checking factors, we have to divide. So what is how we can get the factors where the remainder becomes 0 is called as a factor. If we are getting remainder equals to 0, then it is called as a factor. Okay, isn't it? If you are getting 0, meaning that is a factor for 6, isn't it? So What I'm doing is I'm taking a count. Initially, I'm taking a count value as 0. Okay. So again, I have to use for in range concept. For I in range, from where to where I have to check. From where to where I have to check. From 1 to 5. Okay. 1 to 5. Or 1 to what we wrote 1 to A. Okay. So why? Because we wrote A now. So that will be assigned to here. Okay. We are dividing from 1 to 5 digits only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 only. If we are taking 6 as a number, what we will get? Range of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 only. Okay. 6 will not come. Okay. 6 itself is not factor for this now. The number itself is not a factor. That's why we are taking A. You got the point? The number itself is not a factor. Even though 1 is a factor for every number, the number itself is not a factor to itself. Okay. So what I am doing is I am dividing. If the number which I took and the number which is in intermediate value, if I make a modulus division, if I get 0, then what I have to do? I have to add this value to C plus I. Okay, add that value to C plus I, where it is I. Okay, C equals to C plus I. Okay, okay, I'm coming out of the loop. It from in this for loop, it takes range of numbers. Range of numbers it will take. After that, it will divides with that range of number. Okay. After that, I'm coming out of the loop and checking if C equals to the value which I have entered. Okay. Then what I have to do? I have to print here I print what is this perfect. Okay, perfect. Else print not. Okay, I'm simply writing not. Okay, I'm initially taking a count value 0 variable with an input 0 and taking the range of numbers and dividing. Each time I'm adding that number to C. If I get 0, if I get 0, remainder 0, I'm continuously adding C to that number to the C. Initially C value is 0. After when I got remainder as 0, that will be added to C. So later I'm checking whether that C and the C value in the number and the C value are matched, then it is called perfect number. Okay, let me run this program. If you made any mistake, it will not come. It is asking to enter. I don't know. Let me check for 6. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, it's a perfect number. Okay, let me run this program again. In this at this time I'm writing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, like this. So it is saying it's not a perfect number. Okay. What happens if I write a plus 1? It will shows the error that 6 is there. 6 is not a perfect number. Okay. 6 is not a perfect number. Why? Because it is taking up the values from 1 to 5, 1 to 6. But 6 is not allowed while doing the division. Why? Because the number itself is not a factor for that number. Okay, so that's why we have to remove this one. Okay, and will you do any mistake here? Okay, if you mistakenly type like this inside the if condition, it will you will get iterations, continuous iterations, continuous iterations Let me run this program. It's a mistake. Okay. Why it is a mistake? Because this if and else is not matching. Okay. So that's why we are getting mistake. Okay. Now you will not get any mistake. I'm entering 6. Okay. Not, we got not, we got not. For the first iteration, it's not a perfect number. For the second and third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, like that you will get. Okay, like that the values of iterations you will get. And remember one thing, don't write like this. Okay, if you write like that, it will give the error. Okay, it will give the error. Why? Because we are writing inside the else concept, inside the else, not outside the else. Okay, so that's why we have to write like this only. Inside the else condition only you have to write. Okay. It's completed. This is called called as a perfect number concept, and uh, it's already saved now. Okay, what we'll do? Let me run yesterday's program. What are the small numbers? What are the small capital numbers in the given integer? We got error yesterday. Let me run this program. Input, enter. Okay, so I'm taking small as 0, capital as 0 initially. Okay, for I in S. Okay, for I is in S. So here we're not taking the range. We're not taking the range. We're comparing each and individual string. We are assigning each and individual string value to the variable called I. So if user types enter, each time the E will be assigned to I at first iteration. Later it will be given to the given to the later it will the N will be given to I. Later the T will be given to I, like that. If I hit enter, if, so I'm taking I dot, I'm not getting, why? Because I took I'm not getting. It has to show up here, but it's not showing. So it will definitely give the error. Leave this. I can do it later. Mm, what we'll do? And we another concept is Fibonacci. Okay, Fibonacci. Let me see that Fibonacci. Okay. Mm, Before going to Fibonacci concept, you must know what is mean by function. Okay, you must know the concept of function. Let me close this program and close this one also, and I will open this thing again. Mm, Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, G. I'm still sourcing for food. Okay. Do you have any brochure of the course? Hello. Okay. So we will discuss the concept of functions. Okay. So what is meant by function? Function is nothing but a some code of lines. Okay. Some are some what we can say precisely. It is a pre-written code of line. We write a pre-written. We will write some. We can write functions for additions. We can write functions for data accessing. Uh, Meaning that we are writing some lines of codes and we are storing in somewhere so that we can access directly. Okay, using some name, we can access that directly. Okay, we will give that name to that function directly and we can call that function. It will, after calling that function, it comes to front end or back end, whatever it may be. It will do its task and returns. It will do its task and returns to the statements which we are written before defining the in the definition of function. Okay, so what is the concept of function is we wrote, okay, we wrote some piece of code or lines of code, okay, lines of code for our convenience, for our need. Okay, so that is called as function. Okay, this Python will provide greatest possibility for writing those functions. Okay, so let me show you how we can initiate a function. Okay, in order to initiate any function, you have to write def. Okay, so it indicates that we are defining the function. Okay, defining a function called a. Okay, we are defining the function whose name is a. Okay, we have didn't mention anything. Okay, it's defined. Okay, so what this function has to do, it has to print, this is my function. Okay, it has to print this is my function. Whenever I call the a, it has to print this is my function. Okay, if I write a, if I press a enter, we will get some, there is a function, it, what is this thing? It is a location, it is a physical address location where this function is stored. Okay, it is a physical address location where this function is stored. Okay, but in order to call that function, in order to execute that function, we have to write braces, we have to put the braces and we have to hit enter. Okay, then we will get this is my function. Okay, say suppose I'm taking define a, I'm taking some inputs, x comma, it's a format. I'm taking two inputs as a format. What these must have to do, after calling that function, it becomes if I call a, if I call a and if I write two inputs, then what I supposed to get, I have to get x plus y as an output. Okay, let me write a enter. Okay, just see the physical address, physical address, physical addresses. So addresses are changed. Okay, right now the address of the function is changed. Okay, so if I write 20 comma 30, if I hit enter, what I will get, it it is printing 20 plus 30. Okay, like this we can directly call the function and do the execution concept as per our convenience. Okay, as per our convenience we can assign this function functionality, this functionality, this entire functionality we can assign to the another variable also. Okay, b equals to a. If you write b equals to a, if I hit enter, okay, see the physical address of the b a is some 550, and the physical address of the b is also 550. Okay, meaning that the functionality which possessed by a is transferred to b. Okay, and we can use the b also without writing this define b print x plus y. You can transfer that functionality directly. Okay, if you hit enter you will get 50. Okay, but you shouldn't mention like this, c equals to a brackets. Okay, uh, a brackets, no, x comma y 20 comma 30. Okay, you can write like this, it doesn't matter. What happens here is it will add the two values and it will give the value to c variable. Okay, it gives a value to the c variable. Why? Because we mentioned the format now. A must be comprises of two variables. So that is nothing but this thing. Okay, this thing will be executed and that result is stored its at C. Okay, but we are not getting C now. There is a mistake, I think so. C equals to A, empty. If it will give the error, C enter, it is not executing. B enter, it is a function. B 20 comma 30 enter. C equals to temporary value. Okay, like that we can give the functionality. Like that we can give the functionality to the other variable. Okay, and we can use the C function also, 20 comma 30. Okay, like that we can give the functionality also, but it is not directly assigning the functionality to another variable. Okay, d equals to a, like that you have to enter. Okay, and then you can use the d also, 20 comma 30. There you can use the function. Likewise you can use the functions as per your convenience. You can write multiplication, division, and you can take any type of variables as per your interest, x comma y comma or w comma z comma or t. Okay, no one will ask, but you have to mention. Okay, you have to mention what you have to get. Either you can write RUTURN written. You have to write x plus, it is a long process, I mistakenly wrote x plus y plus z plus t plus w. Okay, so if I hit enter, I have to mention, see, While taking the bracket, it is asking the values of x, y, w, z, t. Okay, I have to mention all the values 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if I hit enter, I will get 200. Either you can write print or you can write return also. Either you can write print or you can write return also. Okay.